Hello, welcome. Today I'm excited to introduce you to the changes you can expect to see in MEFIRS to help us support the NEMSIS version 3.5 dataset. This update is to standardize the data designed to help enhance our understanding of emergency medical services and ultimately to improve patient care. As frontline EMS clinicians, your contributions to the NEMSIS dataset are invaluable. By documenting and sharing your encounters, you help shape the future of EMS, ensuring that every day, every call contributes to the greater good of our healthcare system. With that, we're going to dive right into the run form. My name is Jason Oak. I'm the Data Preparedness Coordinator here at Maine EMS, and I'm just going to walk you through the entire run form. Some changes that you'll note right off the bat is on the run form start page. We've added the responding crew and responding unit information right to the top of the run form. The thought process behind this is that if you're using Elite Field and you set up your device to record these fields for you when you start your shift, when you open the run form, you won't have to enter any information right here because it'll auto-populate for you. On the EMS times panel, not much has changed here. Two places to enter times on this panel right here and in the upper right-hand corner with the times button. I'm just going to plug some times in here so that we can activate everything that we need to on the run. This is a field that will ask you if you're the first unit on scene once you've arrived on scene. If you're canceled en route or something, we won't show you that field. On the dispositions tab, there's some new dispositions. One of the main things, though, you'll see here is that the type of service requested has changed. There's 3 emergency response types of service requested: primary response area, mutual aid, and intercept. Interfacility transfer, specialty care, PIFT, those are gone. What we're looking for here is where did the transfer begin and where does it end? So if you're going hospital to hospital, hospital to non-hospital, non-hospital to hospital, etc. Next on this page are the new dispositions. The first is the unit disposition. The unit disposition is the disposition for the EMS event identifying whether or not patient contact was made. You'll have to answer this field on all calls. We've taken the dispositions that we feel will be selected most often, and we've moved them to number 1 in the drop-down list or the upper left-hand corner of the box. So we'll say we made patient contact. Primary evaluation and care is the patient disposition for an EMS event, identifying whether a patient care was evaluated and care or services were provided. The crew disposition is the disposition for this EMS event, identifying which crew provided primary patient care or whether support services were provided. And then the transport disposition is for an EMS event, identifying whether a transport occurred and by which unit. Was it this unit with this crew only, or by another unit, by this unit with another member of another crew, and so on and so forth. EMS response number and incident number can be auto-populated by either your CAD number or by your agency's auto number settings, or whichever system your agency follows for selecting a number for calls. Under the dispatch section, there are not many changes here. The dispatch reason is the dispatch reason reported to the responding unit that you received from dispatch, not what the patient tells you. Acuity level, the determinant code can be provided to you by your dispatch. It's not a required field though. And then whether or not EMD was performed. On the incident address tab, this is fairly self-explanatory. Not much has changed here. Not much has changed here. One thing that we try to maintain throughout the entirety of the run form is to minimize scrolling. On the response to scene, you'll notice that there's no more was this immediate or pre-scheduled. That's not a required field, so we removed that. On this additional response mode descriptors, there is a data quality rule here that does not allow you to select two conflicting arguments here. So we'll make our selection and we'll go there. On the delays tab, these are not new fields. These are all part of the current run form. However, they're all defaulted on the current run form to no or none delay. We remove the defaults because that's not an accurate way to collect data. We have added a preset value for no delays, and you can 2 clicks and apply that to all 5 fields here. The scene delay will flag red if you're on scene on a 911 call for over 20 minutes or on scene for an IFT over 30 minutes. And the response delay will flag red if the time from the unit en route to arrive on scene is greater than 5 minutes on a 911 call. On this arrival section, scene details panel, number of patients at scene, and these 3 fields, received from, transferred to, and other agencies on scene, will flag red depending on the dispositions that you selected on the run form start section. Patient information panel has changed slightly in the fact that we have moved is the patient experiencing homelessness question to the top and the veteran status to the top, because if you are doing a repeat patient lookup and you have seen that patient before, while you need to verify everything in that patient information section is correct, these should be the only 2 fields that you would need to populate. This question does not repopulate with a repeat patient lookup, and the veteran status question is new enough that it may not populate, but it is a repeat patient metric that can be identified. There are some new selections under the patient gender field as well. Other than that, nothing else has changed here. Patient phone number is no longer a required field. The patient closest relative, this is going to be used for if the patient is under 18 years of age. On the assessment tab, the patient complaint, nothing significant has changed here. I will just show you one way that you can save a few seconds on your chart. If you note that the duration of the chief complaint is accurate, it will populate the date and time of symptom onset. That is a feature your agency can set up for you at the service administration level. So other than that, through here, we have put the final patient acuity here, and we move the drug alcohol use indicators to the patient assessment tab. Barriers to patient care is not a new value. It is another value that is currently on the run form that is defaulted. I would strongly suggest reviewing these options on every time you document and making the appropriate selection. On the assessment panel, nothing has changed here, except we've reorganized some values. Possible injury and cardiac arrest, those are familiar values that you'll see together. We have moved the drug alcohol use indicators here, and the patient physical assessment grid is here, which you can access by clicking the add button or by using the power tool and documenting the assessment. Of note, the assessment is the only place where you can select that there is an open fracture closed, or fracture open. And this is also the place where you can document bleeding controlled or bleeding uncontrolled. And there is a pertinent negative button here. The NP tag will allow you to tag any items above as exam finding not present. So he had uncontrolled bleeding of an open fracture, but it doesn't hurt. Just as an example. And we'll go ahead and accept that, and we'll add that to our report. You'll notice there's an error here because of the time. It's because I just selected those times, but if we could click on the time and use this little tool on the side to indicate, was it the current time, on scene time, the patient arrival, or destination arrival? My times for this purpose are so close together. If I just hit the patient arrival time, it clears that value. I'm going to say possible injury, yes, and cardiac arrest, yes, just so we can show you some values in the run form a little bit later. On the patient history tab, nothing has changed here. This is all exactly the same as it is on the current run form. Vital signs and stroke assessment, also nothing changed here. Vital signs, you can enter them here, or a stroke assessment here, or you could also use the power tool over here to enter your vital signs, or you can still download them from your cardiac monitor if that's the functionality that your agency has. On the protocols panel, this is new to us. It is not new to the system though. So protocol used, and we're going to use the abdominal pain protocol here. All the protocols that we have are available in here. On the injury information panel, there is 2 new fields that are relabeled. It was trauma center triage criteria and automobile vehicle crash, pedestrian crash indicators. They've been relabeled to trauma triage criteria steps 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All the options are the same though. Just wanted to show you the change on the relabel. There's no changes to the crash information panel, and no changes to the treatment panels here. The cardiac arrest section and panels has some changes. We've gone from 2 fields to 3 with a 4th field that's got some added features that I'll show you. This cardiac arrest times is just that, cardiac arrest times or fields that are relevant to a time in some other way, shape, or form. The CPR AED panel is relative to CPR or performance of CPR or AED usage prior to the arrival of EMS. The resuscitation documentation section is the section that is relevant to the EMS clinicians resuscitation event. This is a dynamic field. When you select fields, certain fields will become not required or will appear and become required fields. On the treatment panel on here, we've added some cardiac arrest medications and procedures, etc. As an example, we've added epinephrine, amiodarone, sodium bicarb, magnesium sulfate, calcium gluconate, and an IV fluid bolus that you can give here. And the reason being is that we were able to select some default fields, the medication, the route, the dose, the milligrams, dosage units, and so on and so forth. You just have to fix the time. It'll default to your crew, but it's just to save a few clicks on adding that medication. On the transport panel, nothing has changed on the transport panel. Everything is exactly the same. On the destination information panel, you'll notice that when you select the hospital, it will auto-populate the hospital's capability if we have the hospital capability documented in the facility status set. Other than that, nothing else has changed. If you do choose the reason for choosing your destination as diversion, you will see a facility diverted from question that you will have to answer. Otherwise, it's not required and it goes away. If your agency has any supplemental questions, they will be here on the run form. And on the narrative tab, you'll have for an emergency response, you'll have the provider's primary impression or the provider's secondary impression, or if you have an interfacility transport, you will have the reason for the medical transport. This is the categories that you're familiar with now, and then the diagnosis. You'll also have the narrative down here. We have the review requested field here. This is not new. If you say yes, it'll say, please describe why you're requesting a review. We also have this notify crew of outcome data. This is a new feature. If you say yes, we're going to ask you to document the medical record number and the encounter number for that patient so we can notify you of the outcome data through the MEFIRS system. And that outcome data will be available on the outcomes page. On the billing information section, we have this field, level of care provided per protocol. This is a new field. Please make the appropriate selection here. Level of service provided, this is not new. This is the same that it was and it is on the current run form. We're going to change back to emergency call just to show you how that plays out. So make the appropriate selection of the level of service provided. This field primary method of payment is not new. However, it is going to be newly be seen by EMS clinicians now. It is defaulted to a pertinent negative on the current run form. We remove the default, and it is only the primary method of payment. This is also a repeat patient value, and just select the type of payment, whether it's private insurance, Medicaid or Maine Care, Medicare, no insurance identified, self-pay, etc. This information is only for transporting EMS agencies that transported a patient. Otherwise, it won't be asked of clinicians when they're with a non-transporting agency, or there's no patient transport. Most of that information will be available to you on the patient demographic form that they give you at the hospital. And there is a pertinent negative value here that allows you to select not recorded and to clear the value. And on the signature section, you'll just have to get the EMS provider signature, and then that would complete that field for you. And one new field to show you, the provide feedback. We're always looking for ways to improve how we document our patient care. This is a link to a survey that you could take. It will open in a new tab. It can be filled out anonymously. You don't have to answer all of the questions. You can only answer some of the questions if you'd like. And you don't even have to give your name or email address, and then you can click submit. And it'll take you and it'll submit that form for you. So thank you for watching. That was a run through the form. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Maine EMS.